Okay, I've just started playing with Windows 10, and from the previews and the reviews I had read, I was really impressed. I thought that Microsoft had done some great stuff. Playing with it even just a little, not so much. Right now I have the bottom of the screen hidden, so let's see if we can guess what these buttons do. This one right here is labeled Close. This one right here is called Restore Down. This one is Minimize. So Close would close, and that does work. But this one says Restore Down. Now a general user might not know what that means, but if you've used Windows for a while, you know that means restore down to a window. Go out of full screen mode. So let's go ahead and try and do that. Nothing. Unhiding the bottom of the screen, I'm in tablet mode. When I'm in tablet mode, this does nothing. But you cannot tell what this button up here at the very top of the screen is going to do unless you look at the very bottom of the screen. If the bottom of the screen is hidden, you literally have no idea what this button is going to do. Let's go into the desktop mode. Get out of tablet mode. I'm calling it desktop mode. I really don't know what Microsoft calls it. And I get my icons back, and I'm in my regular desktop mode. And now it will restore down to a window. So it works when I'm in desktop mode. But it doesn't when I'm in tablet mode. Go back to tablet mode. Down here changes. Up here does not. It does, but you don't see any changes. It visually does not change, but it doesn't work the same. It also has a minimize button. Well, we know what minimize does. We've used Windows for a while. I'll go back into my desktop mode. Minimize pulls it down to the taskbar. I'll go ahead and click on it, and it brings it back. Easy. Nice and easy. So let's go ahead and try that in tablet mode. Tablet mode, I minimize it. It brings me to here, and there's no place down here to get it. So how do I get that back? It hides it. Well, there's this new icon right here, Task View. I can click on that. Nope, doesn't do it. But let's take a look at that. It was before having wings. I'll click on it again. Notice how the wings pop out there when I mouse over it? It was doing that before. I'll click on it again, and now it brings me here where I can get to it. Let's look at this again. I'm minimizing. Wings come out. Again, I don't know what those are called. I'm calling them wings. I click on it. No wings. It's changed the mode. Click on it again. Wings come out. Click on it again to get to this right here. So 4 clicks just to get to my hidden document. That's mind-boggling. Let's hide it again. Let's take a look. We know what the start button does. Start button does nothing. Start button does absolutely nothing. What about the back button? There's a back button here. Does nothing. It's not grayed out. Does nothing. Even that's not quite true. The start button does do something. I now can come over here to my task view, click once, and it will come right to it. And I've played with this a little bit. If I click the back button, I can click it as many times as I want. Still have to click this 3 times. 2, 3 times to get to here. If I minimize again, though, I click my start button just once, click my task view, and it brings me there. So the start button in the tablet mode does nothing except to make this work the way it should work initially. I'm sort of speechless on this one. So let's just review this again. In both tablet mode and desktop mode, you have these same 3 buttons, but they do different things. That's the way new Windows works now, right? That's what we've seen. In tablet mode, this hides, it doesn't minimize, and this button does nothing. Well, let's go back into tablet mode, and we'll minimize, or hide, really, and I'm going to open up the new browser, Microsoft Edge. Well, it doesn't have any of those icons. Well, maybe it's just a program that doesn't have those. Let's go to desktop mode, and now it does have those, and they work as you expect. Oh, it took me to the wrong program, and I didn't even notice because I was so focused up here. Let's go back to Edge. But it has those icons, and they work as you would expect. They minimize. Excellent. But when I'm in tablet mode, they don't exist. Now I can hit this right here to close it, and it'll take me back to the silly tiles. But if I have multiple tabs open, of course, hitting the X on any one only closes that one. So again, I can't close the program. Now, how would you know to do this? Unless you happen to stumble into it. I move my mouse here, and there we go. Wait a while. Now I get an X, but I don't get the other icons. And the X is now staying. Oh, it's gone. I don't get the other icons. I can't minimize this. And I can't do the restore, which doesn't work. I guess that's a good thing, since the button doesn't work. But we're now getting something completely different in a different program. I'll close this again. I want to get back to my Notepad document, which is still open. It doesn't give me any indication of that, by the way. How do I know it's still open? I can click on this 3 times, or I can click on this once, then this once, then this once. How does that make any sense at all? Let's go back to the desktop mode. And let's see, how does this work here in desktop mode? Now, we've seen in the tablet mode, I have to click this 3 times. Here I only have to click it once. Even when I minimize, I click it once, it just works. Pretty cool feature. But do the same thing in tablet mode, where I might want to get back to that more easily because I don't have the icons over here. It doesn't work. I have to click on it 3 times. So in tablet mode where it's needed more, it actually works less well. I don't understand what Microsoft is thinking on this. Let's look at a couple of other things here. I'm going to go back to desktop mode. Let's take a look, and we can even minimize this just so we can focus on just the general user interface. I'm going to go ahead, click on my Start button, and I get a list of programs. Right here, programs I use, and File Explorer, Settings, Power, All Apps. Nice, and then I get this Life at a Glance, I get Plan Explore. I'm going to go back into tablet mode, and notice my Life at a Glance and my Plan Explore, they move. Now instead of being one on top of the other, they're side by side. So even where these things are organized, they move. That was by default. I can drag this out, and now they don't move as much, but that's not the default. I had to go ahead and move that. Maybe different size screens that would be different, I don't know. But at least on mine it was like that initially. And so these things are moving on you, and if you have more icons, these ones are going to go off to the right. These ones here would go up and down. And so your organization, your entire layout becomes different. Now in each one of these little organizations, the Life at a Glance, the subcategories, I assume those stay the same. I haven't played with this, but one is up and down, one is left and right. So you have to get used to 2 different layouts. Again, that's poor design. Let's remember also that we have this right here, these lists of files and File Explorer, Settings, Power. Let's go to tablet mode. How do you think you get to that? Well, not the Start button. We've seen the Start button does nothing except change the mode of this, which is weird. But there is this icon right here, this list, so you might expect that's where it would be, but you get a completely different list right here. But there is this icon here, which actually is going to do nothing when I click on it except make that go away. If I click on it now, though, I get the same list that I had in my Start button. So if I am in tablet mode, if I'm in desktop mode, I have this list down here, and I get to it, and I hide it from the bottom left. But if I go into tablet mode, that same list is now at the top. And I'm noticing now when I click on it, it's showing me that list. If I click on it and go to desktop mode, notice it stays. Okay, so it should stay when I change modes. But I go to tablet mode, and it disappears. I have to go and not just click once, because I have to go ahead and get rid of this. I have to click once, twice to get it back. Going the other direction, don't have to click at all to get it back. It just jumps down to the bottom. This is a bit of a mess. You have 2 different user interfaces, 2 different paradigms. One has these icons at the bottom so you can quickly access all of your programs. It also has these over here so you could access your other ones. So you could access all of your programs. The other one only lets you access some of your programs, shows it to you in a different layout, and has everything moved around and icons that look the exact same, but you don't know what they're going to do until you look at the very bottom of the screen. I hope that Windows 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, they start looking at this and they start fixing it, so that task view actually works correctly, works in a reasonable way. Task view, not 1, 2, 3 clicks to get to it and then 4 clicks to open that up. This is just a bit of a mess.